Day 8 of the Niners training camp just wrapped up. This is their highest intensity practice we'll see this week. The Niners start out on low intensity, move their way up to high intensity, and then level off to medium intensity. So many people's eyes are on the quarterback position, so I need to talk about Brock Purdy's schedule really quickly. Brock Purdy practiced today, so it is appearing that he will have tomorrow off, so Trey Lance and Sam Darnold should get more reps tomorrow. Additionally, recently in practice, we've seen an uptick in move the ball periods from the Niners. This is where Kyle Shanahan can call anything from his playbook, and it really simulates in-game situations where the ball has to move at least 10 yards to get a first down. So with that background out of the way, let's talk about their starting quarterback, Brock Purdy, on the day and how he performed. Today, these were Brock Purdy's stats. He went 12 of 18 with an interception as well as a touchdown. Brock Purdy started the day trying to test the defense deep down the field, first connecting with George Kittle on a 40-yard plus bomb, and then trying to go back to Deebo Samuel, who was in double coverage, and Talanoa Hufanga deflected the ball. Another play that really stood out in Brock Purdy's performance moving to move the ball section is when he audibled at the line of scrimmage and changed the play to connect to Brandon Ayuk on a quick route where he would have resulted in like a 35-yard gain. The best throw for Purdy might have come when Brock Purdy threw a perfect pass to the right corner pylon to Deebo Samuel, who made an acrobatic catch. It was the best play in practice by far. After the first move the ball period resulted in a touchdown for Brock Purdy, he continued to cook. He found Ayuk over the middle, and then CMC had a nice run. Purdy then escaped the pocket and would have found a wide receiver, but it was marked a sack on the play. Purdy followed this up by hitting Ayuk nice outside the numbers with a beautiful throw. Ayuk just then dropped it. The second move of the period drive, not resulting in a touchdown then, wasn't solely on Purdy's shoulders. The question then becomes, how did Purdy actually play today given he had a touchdown but also that interception I mentioned earlier? Overall, I think Purdy has performed well throughout this camp, and he continues to improve. Yesterday, he wasn't able to lead the offense to a touchdown, but today he looked a lot better in move the ball period drills. And this is where I really like seeing quarterbacks because Kyle Shanahan can call anything he wants and it mimics the game situation so closely. And Brock Purdy was the best quarterback in these move the ball situations today. But with that being said, I do think the other quarterbacks did great things today, including Trey Lance and Sam Darnold. Moving into Sam Darnold, his numbers on the day were 12 of 14. Like I mentioned, he wasn't going against the first team defense and also didn't have first team weapons. So let's go ahead and break down his day and his notable plays. Like Purdy, Darnold was effective in moving the ball period and went 12 of 14 as I mentioned. He connected on a lot of underneath the passes, but also was nearly picked by the undrafted free agent Deshaun Jamison today. Perhaps Sam Darnold's most explosive play on the day came when he hit Deebo Samuel on his slant, which Deebo Samuel might have taken all the way for a touchdown. So Sam Darnold still continues his strong camp, something the Niners absolutely love because they want an insulated quarterback room. And Sam Darnold, frankly, is a whole lot better than who the Niners' number 3 quarterback was entering last season, who was Nate Sudfeld. But Darnold can also push to be the number 2 quarterback. But let's talk about the other quarterback in competition for this number 2 role, Trey Lance. Lance had a phenomenal day and arguably was his best day. He went 8 of 11 and looked pretty good doing it. So let's go ahead and give the highlights of Trey Lance's day like we did for Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold. Trey Lance hit Danny Gray on a 30-yard bomb down the middle. It was impressive. I love watching Trey Lance throw it deep. That's one of the things he does great, especially outside the numbers. But now moving into the move the ball period, let's talk about how Trey Lance sparked the offense. He used a zone read and then delivered a great ball to rookie wide receiver Ronnie Bell for about a 30-yard gain. Lance, during this move the ball period, did struggle finding wide receivers in the flat, something he struggled with throughout his career. Today, he bailed out of the pocket to the right and tried to find a wide receiver, but the ball hit the floor before reaching them. Lance then was potentially sacked by Taylor Hawkins on a blitz from Steve Wilks, but he did connect with Danny Gray on the play outside the numbers, something to be noted for his move the ball period. Overall in practice today though, Lance was phenomenal. I mean, he was connecting all over the field, but he does need to work on those short throw accuracy, which we knew. Moving on to the Niners' third or fourth string quarterback, however you want to look at this, Brandon Allen participated in today and went 6 of 7. One of the more impressive plays that came from Brandon Allen was when he connected with Danny Gray over the middle on a contested catch. Ultimately, throughout this training camp, I've been impressed by Danny Gray's year 1 to year 2 jump. And if Kyle Shanahan's able to implement his 4-3 speed into this offense, it's going to be absolutely deadly. So now that we went through each quarterback's day, let's talk about who the real winners are today. The big winners are Niners and Niners fans. Their quarterbacks have steadily improved throughout training camp, and this is evident by today's performance. If you compile all their stats, they're above 70% completion percentage, and Brock Purdy does look like he's continued to improve each day he's out there, looking more and more like the quarterback we saw last year. Additionally, Trey Lance looks a whole lot better than he did last year, and Sam Darnold does have a whole lot of arm talent, as the Niners mentioned. But let's talk about how this quarterback competition went through today. Who were the real winners when it comes to the quarterback room? This practice was an extremely close practice, and it's hard to say who did better. I think Brock Purdy and Trey Lance were neck and neck, but you could say Trey Lance was better or Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy on one hand moved the ball, I think, better and moved the ball periods and looked like the best quarterback out there. But Trey Lance had a better completion percentage and didn't have the interceptions or near interceptions as Sam Darnold did. For me though, I really do value the move the ball period and how it simulates in-game scenarios, especially against the Niners' #1 defense. And because of Brock Purdy's strong performance there today, I would have to say that Brock Purdy was the best quarterback today, closely followed by Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, and then Brandon Allen, I'm just putting towards the end of this list because he does participate with the threes in comparison to Darnold and Lance splitting 2 reps and Purdy going against all ones. Speaking about the quarterbacks who won and lost today, let's talk about the quarterback depth chart that I can envision right now. I see that Brock Purdy is QB1 every time he steps on the field. That's where he's inserted, and no quarterbacks even rotated with him. To have a fair competition, it would make more sense if Trey Lance or Sam Darnold was being rotated in the same practice as Brock Purdy, but frankly, that hasn't been the case. Moving on to quarterback 2, I do see Trey Lance being here right now. While he has had his struggles in the short game, as highlighted today, I do think he can develop into a great quarterback. It just is a matter if the Niners have the time to actually develop him. He needs a whole lot of reps in comparison to a guy like Purdy, who's had a ton of experience. Moving on to Sam Darnold, I would slot him as the 3rd string quarterback. And that's not a bad thing for the Niners or Niners fans. Having all these guys being so talented and us having this conversation of who the better quarterback is when Brock Purdy led a team that was undefeated towards the end of the year, I think that's a great problem to have. So that's my thoughts. I think the Niners will start the best quarterback. But what do you guys think? Who do you think will be the starting quarterback, and who had the best day today? Was it Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, or Sam Darnold? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. It would also mean a ton to me if you liked and subscribed. And as always, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.